So that's how this level should go, more or less. Execution-wise, this fight wasn't the best, but we're gonna run through it again. All right. Let's go back here. So for this first section here, this first screen, it's pretty easy. There are a couple different strats you can do. The one I do is the most consistent for me. I've seen some other runners do a couple other ones, but yeah, I don't know. This one's the one I work with. So we just come in and we air dash, and as I come down out of this air dash, I like to buffer the down forward input. That way that laser comes out as soon as I touch the ground, because these guys are gonna spawn right then and there. So we pop this blue guy with the laser, and he takes 3 hits he takes 3 laser hits, and then you turn around, you hit the orange and the green guy, and they take 2 hits each. So just like that, if you do it that way, it's pretty hard to mess this screen up. And then we're going to be doing something with Iron Man here that we're going to be doing for a lot of other stages in the game, which is kind of prep our screen transitions. So it takes roughly 2 or 3 seconds for the screens to transition after the enemies go down. So here, we just jump, kind of prep our air dash for the next section. Air dash over here. This section looks kind of tricky. It's actually really easy. So if you get a good enough air dash over here, you can air dash right to the edge. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be jumping on these platforms. They have these electric balls moving back and forth. You can get hit by them, but the cycle we catch is pretty easy. So you can just land on the edge of each one. When you get to the top, just double jump and dash the other way. There is a second strat that you can use here, but it's the TAS uses it. I've been trying to make it RTA viable, but I haven't really found a way to do it yet. Maybe somebody can. So we get to about here. You can actually be a little further up. Just like that. It's pretty easy, and I like to stand right about here. So the door's gonna explode. These guys are gonna spawn a couple seconds later, and I like to jump and air dash into them, so it kills 2 of them, and then you just clean up the last one. It might be 2. You might get 2. Maybe miss one with the air dash. Just like that. The last one, and then air dash here. Now this guy. Okay, so this is a pretty good example of it, actually. So the reason we air dash into this guy is because sometimes he can just spin out and do that, knock you down, cost you a few seconds, and I'd just rather not deal with that. I'd rather just hit him so he's down, and then you get away from him pretty quickly anyway. So that's what can go wrong on this screen. You have these lasers that'll fire at you, but it's not really too much going on here. Just kind of scaling this wall. And then you want to air dash right about here. I try to aim for the end of that first platform. And then kind of, so I can do a single jump over to the next one, and then kind of just take off with the air dash. And you kind of want to line up. Let's see if I can go back here. can do this, you kind of want to line up with the top of that castle wall there. Right about like this. Takes you right into Doom's chamber. And with Doom, he has a little bit of RNG. It's not too bad. He can do one of 4 things, which he can shoot a full screen laser. I just call it the big laser. He can do finger lasers. That's where he jumps and he does a 3-way split laser. He can float and do a foot dive. And the last thing he can do is just walk away. If he walks away, he's trying to reposition himself so he can do big laser again. I had a theory that his moves are kind of based off proximity. So I've noticed if I'm a little bit closer to him, then he tries to do finger lasers more. If I'm at about arm's distance, he tries to do big laser more. But he's also done totally random combinations of that at any distance. So who knows? And the best way to take him is to do 3 hits on the ground and do 1 jumping hit, which you did not see in that fight earlier. So the last thing about Doom here. Doom, after you knock him down, he likes to reposition himself. And you can get an animation skip. Most of the time he will go forward. So forward is if he's facing to the left. Most of the time he will go forward, but not backwards if he's facing to the right. So we really want to try to knock him down to the right whenever you can. And if he's a good enough distance, like he's standing away from me right now, he won't go into that animation at all, and will just get up and go straight into his dialogue. And this, of course, is one of the differences between the American and the Japanese version here, and a couple other of the stages, is that the Japanese version has a couple less text boxes. You probably gain about second, maybe a second and a half each time. So it probably rounds out to about, I don't know, maybe 3 seconds or so. I haven't really tested it, but that's my guesstimate. Maybe about 3, maybe 4 seconds over the English version. But anyway, so with this text, you want to mash Y and B through it. Doom goes up, and hopefully the time gem comes down. So the time gem is the red one. That's what we want to see. So he can give out either the reality gem, the time gem, or nothing at all, which can make this RNG hell for a little bit. For the purpose of this tutorial, I already have a save state loaded up where he just gives out the time gem to us. And for these cutscenes after each stage, so you can actually get a frame-perfect cutscene skip, which is where the hero doesn't even appear on the screen. I like for the screen to start fading out just a little bit, and then I kind of mash on start after. Doesn't save too much time, but saves a little bit. That's what counts, I guess. So here, after Doom's Castle, we can go 2 routes. The route I personally go to is Alaska 2nd, because there is a boss that... the boss of the Alaska stage, Sasquatch, he can give you a really bad pattern, and yeah, I don't like dealing with that after going through another stage, so I like to put that one second. If you don't want to be too hard on yourself resetting this game over and over, you can go to Amazon second, and you can actually go through the stage, fight Wolverine, and see if he gives out a time gem. If he doesn't, then just reset there, because you're gonna need the time gem when you go to Alaska. So, beat Doom, got the time gem, and we're just gonna go left to Alaska. For this particular stage, Wolverine is a little bit faster than everyone. Spider-Man doesn't do too much damage to Sasquatch, and you can get a quick kill with Wolverine here. And Wolverine can also take the top route. That's why we want to pick him. We want to get that special gem that we picked up in Doom's Castle. Equip the time gem, and then we're off here. That's not how it's supposed to go. Let's keep going here. I messed up the climbing section, but the stage is gonna go a little something like that. Alright, so Sasquatch gave really good RNG there. So, I'm going to run back and explain this now. Alright, so this first screen isn't too bad, just some combat situation here. So, I like to walk forward until the screen locks, and as soon as the screen locks, I like to go back to the left, take this guy out. Sometimes I'm not fast enough, just like that, and that Daredevil can actually kick you in the head. But with this screen being mostly fighting, it's really kind of hard to mess it up too much. These Daredevils can be kind of annoying. They can keep going off screen, and when they do come back on screen, if you're close enough, they generally will jump back on with a jump kick, just like that. The Claw Dash is your friend here if you get into a hairy situation like this one. And you can kind of hit these guys off screen a little bit too with the Claw Dash. So I'm actually going to save a state here too, because there's a trick on the next screen. It's not too hard, and you need Wolverine with the time gem to do it. It doesn't really save any time, but in this next screen, you're going to have 3 archers that spawn. There's going to be one right in front of you at the top of the slope. There's going to be 2 on ledges right above that. If you jump right at the right time, you can despawn the very top archer. It doesn't really save any time. It just takes an annoyance out there, just because it's one less thing that can hit you. So we'll go jump right about here, take that guy out, then jump all the way to the left. Right about here, jump here, and jump all the way to the left, go back right, and then jump right about here, go up. Now, there's a couple different ways to take this climbing section. I personally just stick to the wall for the most part. So you climb here, and you actually can't climb up. You can't press up. It would be nice here if you could just press up and jump up the ledges. The way I take it is I just kind of jump on that slope there, on the very edge and then go right up the right side. But you have to be careful doing that, because to your upper left, there's going to be a Vision clone that spawns, and if you go too far to the left, there's going to be a Hawkeye clone that spawns. The only way you'll know if you spawn the Hawkeye clone is if his arrow hits you while you're climbing to the next section. So just be careful, and this might be a section you want to practice a little bit. I honestly haven't practiced this enough, the different strats, to know which one is fastest. So I usually just stick with the strat that I know. I believe is the fastest, which is this. So at the top of this hill, there's going to be 2 Hawkeye archers in this hallway. When I get to the top of this cliff, honestly, I just hold forward. If you hold forward, you can get past both those archers while they're loading their arrows. You can take a safe strat and just slow down and take them out, but it'll cost you 1 or 2 seconds. The way I do it is a little bit riskier. I like to play a little bit riskier with this game. But if the first archer does hit you, just be prepared. When you get to the top of the slope in there, another arrow is going to come your direction, and you're just going to want to duck there. Let's see if we can recreate that here. Let's go pop that there. So hold it forward. So you can pop that dude and use your iframes, but there goes that arrow. So I got kind of a, I guess, kind of a bad situation, because usually you can just walk right past these guys. I guess the pause really just kind of messed me up here. So just like that. And for this section, haven't really figured out which strat is the most optimal. Some people just jump here and go down the slope. I personally like to get right to about here, in between like the 3rd and 4th, like light little group of rocks here, and then jump and claw dive. It keeps your momentum a little bit more. And you can either walk down this hill because you're going really fast, or if you really want to, come down here, jump, and then claw dive into the fight. And we'll save this here. Now Sasquatch, he can give you a really, really bad pattern. He can give you a really, really good pattern. The pattern the worst pattern, the one you really want to look out for, is going to be his stomp. So sometimes he'll come out, he'll stomp, he'll kind of just wander around, and then he'll eventually make his way over to you, and sometimes just kind of hit you, sometimes jump. But I've kind of tried to eliminate the RNG here. You can do it completely. And the quick kill we're going to set up on him in the right corner, I just do it over there because it's the easiest to set up in that particular corner. You jump, you can turn around, and you're right on the right pixel just to take him out. But it can be done anywhere on the screen. The problem is that Sasquatch is probably the most random boss in the game. He will just do whatever he wants. I have noticed that in certain sections he will kind of just get locked into the same pattern. Like if he's down here, a lot of times he will just kind of jump off screen and then jump back on screen in the same spots. And when he's over in the corner that we're going to go over to, a lot of times he gets to the ledge that's going to be to our top left, and he gets to the edge and kind of jumps over to that corner where we want to line him up for the quick kill. Barring that, he will go to the ledge that we're standing on and then jump up there. So that's how we're going to get the quick kill, is you can kind of get a read on him to just really kind of predict, activate, and then jump over. Or if you're fast enough, you can activate and jump with him to do the quick kill. And I've done a lot of practice, a lot of testing with this. I'd like to see someone else see what they can make of this boss fight. Alright, so we'll get started. So he'll bust out here. You want to jump over here. This is a really bad pattern too. So he just kind of goes wherever he wants to. A lot of the time, if he gets right here and you're standing where you are, he will either try to attack you, or barring that, he will actually jump up to the ledge that you're on and then either jump up to the ledge to the upper left or jump forward. So that's where it can get kind of tricky. And the activation for this is up, forward, down. So that's the activation for all your special gems. When you activate here, with the forward motion, so it's going to make you slide on the ice a little bit. So that's why I like to stand right in this corner to do it. And then to actually get the quick kill, what I used to do is activate, knock him down while he's in this corner, and then he would get up and attack you and pop you into the right position. Now, I don't like to do that anymore because I feel like that attack is actually really random after some testing. Sometimes he does it in that corner, sometimes he doesn't. So to try to make this quick kill more consistent, I just activate here and then jump up and tap left when I'm in the air. So you can avoid any kind of sliding, and you actually can jump further than where we're going to jump. So if you're worried about that, so just jump, tap left, and you're already lined up when he gets there. So we'll see what he does here. So he gave us a really bad pattern. Another thing you can do is if he gets here, you can kind of just knock him down. And kind of knock him towards that corner. So I'm just going to activate here. So what you don't want to do is activate and do a jump attack on him or hit him with the projectiles, because that'll knock him down. So let's go again. Wrong save state there. Let's see what he gives us. And I'm not using the controller I usually use, so this up, forward, down motion is a little bit harder on this controller. I usually run on console on SNES. SNES controller, it's actually pretty easy. You want to be careful of that. And just like that. And so if you run out, you can use a backup strat here. Which is really just stay in the same position and keep attacking, but you don't want to knock him down. So most of the time, when you're right here, he will just keep jumping like this. You can carry 2 gems in here if you really feel like you can't get this kill. But I only carry 1. actually a pretty good example. So he gave some bad RNG here. But you can see he jumped up on that ledge and then jumped forward. Just lined up the quick kill there. Alright. So out of Alaska, we just go right once, land on Amazon, and we're gonna pick Iron Man for this one. With the time gem. Something that you don't want to happen, and this is the problem with this stage. There's a different strat that I'll show you. You can kind of avoid that, but with the touchy controls, it's kind of a 50-50. Alright. So that's what that stage should look like. Just about. So this first screen, pretty easy. You jump forward, do an air dash, and you jump backwards, do an air dash to the She-Hulk, and do another air dash to the other She-Hulk. Not too difficult here. For the next screen, I like to air dash first, and then walk, jump back, air dash into the two visions, and on the way down, get the first hit on the She-Hulk that's approaching. And I like to get another 3-hit combo while I'm down. Sometimes I'll just do a crouching hit. That actually shouldn't look like that. But you can improvise that screen. It doesn't take very long. But what will cost you a little bit of time if you mess it up is this She-Hulk here. So if you accidentally knock this She-Hulk down without killing her, she can waste like maybe 3 or 4 seconds coming back on screen because she'll have to get up, and then she walks slow already, and she's fighting the current, so she'll walk even slower. And when she comes back on screen, it'll take a little while, so you don't really want to mess this up. Let's see, I'll actually run this back from the beginning and save state there too. So we want to save state here. So that's one strat you can do there. That's probably the safest strat, but it's kind of a 50-50. One that I like to do is that one's a little bit risky. You hit her actually before she comes on screen, since she's limited by that little barb that's in the river. She doesn't go back too far, but still she can waste your time if she gets knocked down from that crouching attack and you don't actually kill her. Coming down off the rock there, just like in X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, the controls in this game are a little bit touchy, and they give you a really big window, like a really big window for you to actually execute your specials. So you can come down off that rock, which is, it's going to be down and your movement button. So it's going to be down and B. And to dash into her, you're going to press the 4-forward B, or 4-forward Y rather. So your attack button, 4-forward Y. If you do it too fast though, the game will read it as down forward Y, and you'll shoot a laser, you'll knock her down, and you'll waste time. It's a little bit easier on the next screen, but because you can mess this one up a little bit easier than that one, just because of the height here. Alright. So you jump over this barb and just kind of walk here. Dash back into the visions. She-Hulk's gonna spawn here. You can jump here, do the same thing. Less risky here, just because you have a little bit more time because that rock's so high. Alright, so for this next screen, I feel like it's probably the least optimized in this whole stage here. I do it, and even when I do it fast, I feel like I could have done it faster. The strat I use is here. So I use this little log in the background as my visual marker. So when I get to about here, I jump, land here, take her out, worry about the vision clones. That's the fastest way I can think of to do it. I'd like to see someone toy with this screen as well. And there's something coming up here that can kind of kill your run, but you can fix it. If you're up too high in the air with Iron Man and you go forward too fast, you can actually get what I call a non-scroll, where the screen won't actually scroll down to the next section of the level, but it will just treat that entire section as a pit and kill you. But you can undo it. So it's caused by just jumping here, going off screen, and then you can see here the screen doesn't actually scroll down because you missed the trigger, which is backed by the tiny little waterfall there. So to show you, if you walk right into there, you'll die. Easily avoided. A lot of times I just jump from here and you land right on this little health pellet that's in here, and then just kind of dash forward and land on top of this guy. But if this does happen to you, Let's see if we can get it again here. Okay, so that was a little past the trigger. Can't get it again. I'll try a few more times here. So the trigger is actually that waterfall there. Anyway, if that non-scroll does happen to you, all you have to do is walk back towards this waterfall, and the screen will pan down and allow you to go to the next section. So it looks kind of terrifying, but very easy fix to it. Alright, I'm only going to try it one more time. See if I can lock the screen again. Okay, there it is. And you just go back towards this waterfall, and it pans down. So, just a couple air dashes. These archers really don't move unless you take an action here. So, what I like to do is land right on top of this guy, and you get a full combo on him. A lot of times, when you finish the combo, the Hawkeye to the bottom left will jump up and hit the top of your last hit. And what I like to do is, when you get a full combo on this guy, he falls off the right side of this platform, and you just kind of follow them down to the bottom right. Most of the time, you'll get two archers down there. Sometimes a third will come down right in front of you as well. Sometimes he will jump to the top left of you when you get down there, and that can make it a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad. So just like that. A lot of times with this strat, you'll get all three of them grouped together. And I like to take out the Hawkeye that's a little bit higher before the one that's a little bit lower. And if they're a little bit higher, I just like to dash into them, just like that. You can get a couple hits on them. There's also a gem over here if you want it, within that waterfall. I don't go for that gem, you don't necessarily need it. Follow this guy down. A lot of times this will happen. It's the exact same situation. I used to think the screen was super random, but it's really not. That's the only annoying part, is if one of them gets out the cage, but you can just kind of dash into them and take care of them that way. Alright, and for this next hallway, I haven't really figured out which strat is optimal here either. So kind of prep, jump into this thing, kind of jump from here, bomb the She-Hulk. Actually, we don't want to kill her there, so I'll kind of mess that up a little bit. Let's go back. Bomb her, bomb that wall, jump over this. Dash into these cameras, and punch this guy when he comes down. It's kind of laser. And for these puck enemies, at least here, I like to laser him, because once you punch him, he's going to land pretty far away from you. And if you knock him down close, I just like to bomb him as he gets up. So the bomb is going to do 2 damage, really easy to execute, just down, down, Y. And you spit out that smart bomb. The reason I do this hallway like this is because the She-Hulk being there is going to cause that second puck enemy not to spawn. Whenever there are puck enemies around, Iron Man is prone to die because he can't deal with them very well. So I'd like to deal with 1 puck enemy as opposed to 2. And She-Hulk she's really tall, she gets popped with a laser every single time. If you do the smart bomb, you already have 2 damage on her. The laser does 2 more damage, takes her out. And you already have 1 hit on the puck. So you can do a full combo if he spins near you. If you just knock him down, you can smart bomb him, just kill him. Sometimes I mess this up. I think this is the screen I mess up the most. And honestly, it's not very difficult. But there's a lot of air dashes back to back to back happening down here. Alright, so there's a different way you can do this. It's hard to tell which way is a little more optimal. So those puck enemies can give you bad RNG, and especially in this little enclosed space. Like I said, Iron Man can't really deal with these guys very well, so they can end up costing you quite a bit of time. They can also go off screen, and with a She-Hulk strat, you can just keep them lined up on the right there, or the left rather. Alright, so this next screen isn't too hard either. You just kind of jump, you air dash here, smart bomb the right way, crouch under that, and then here, I like to jump from about here, and you want to jump and air dash kind of low, because you're going to have those puck enemies over there. So I actually should have saved a state here. We'll just run through it. That's the other thing that can happen if you go for the She-Hulk strat. If she's too far over to the left, you get the 2 pucks anyway. So that's optimal. What you want to do right there is either hit that guy with the tip of your air dash, or as you're coming out of your air dash, just punch him in the face so he doesn't knock you down. Take the rest, too easy, and boss door. Wolverine isn't too hard. He can give you some problems occasionally, though. I've noticed 2 major patterns with him. One I like to call the DP pattern, and one is the claw dash pattern. So it's kind of a 50-50 when this fight starts. He can claw dash at you, or he can jump behind you. And most of the time, if he starts with that jump behind you, he will try to DP you a lot. But he has a really, really easy manipulation. And we'll see what pattern we get here. So he gave us claw dash pattern. Obviously that's not the most optimal because he knocks you down right in the beginning. Either way, get up, and then what I did there is kind of exactly what you want to do. So with most other characters, if you jump right over Wolverine, he can just DP you out of the air. But with Iron Man, you can double jump and get right out of his range, and so that opens up a big avenue for damage for Iron Man. Kind of jump here, come down, 4 hits. Sometimes he does that. I think it's because you're too close. Overall, pretty easy fight. Not too much to worry about there. We'll run it one more time. The basic aim with Wolverine, with the manipulation it's pretty easy, but you really want to keep him on this platform. He can go off and cost you a bit of time, and a lot of times if he goes off the platform, he will DP to get back onto it, and most of the time actually will just claw dash right after that. So that can be a little dangerous just because of all the iframes he gets. Very rarely I'll see him kind of jump to the other side there. And with the manipulation, it's very easy to take this guy out. Sometimes he just doesn't cooperate. Every time. Easy every time. Okay, so the last stage for the first half of the fight, or the game rather, is going to be Boston Aquarium. So this stage, you save the most time with the time gem here. You get a little bit of time save on Amazon, a little bit of time save on Alaska, but most of your time is going to be saved on Boston Aquarium. So we just press left, go to Boston Aquarium, Iron Man again, and we're gonna give a special to him, the time gem, and if you really need to, you can heal him. Like, life management is kind of important with Iron Man, so if he's like less than half, if I had a really bad Wolverine fight, then I just like to give him a little boost. We'll run this one through. Let's kind of master this text here again. Y and B. So that wasn't as optimal as it could have been. It's about like that. Alright, let's see. We're at 3 here. Okay. Alright, so the stage has a little bit to it. Overall, it's not too difficult if you just think of it hallway by hallway. This first hallway is really easy. Air dash, and there's where we save time. So the time gem controls the walk speed, or just the general movement speed of the character. So even in these cutscenes, Iron Man walks a little bit faster, so that's our time save there. The other big time save is because he moves almost like normal when he's underwater. Kind of air dash here, land. And there, I kind of like to hold to the right, and sometimes I land about a pixel or 2 off from that. Save a state here. Yeah, so sometimes I land a pixel or 2 off from the transition down there. So I do like to hold right when I come out of that air dash. So there's a couple variances I've noticed in this particular hallway. A lot of times I take it slower just because you get the same cycle from the enemies. But you can do it kind of like this. So jump right about at that big fish. Punch that guy in the face. I feel like this hallway could be a little bit more optimal. A lot of times I just like to walk here. This is the safer strat. Didn't show it there. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. So that's the absolute safest strat there. Take that door a little bit slower, air dash into it, and so you catch the cycle where you can just air dash and hit that guy on the other side, and you can punch the other puck in the face. So they both go down, giving you enough time. But most of the time you want to jump right at about this big fish. For it. Occasionally you can still catch it. And that's just about how that hallway should go. This hallway, you air dash into this. And this mini boss, most of the time he gives you the best RNG, which is just sitting in that corner doing absolutely nothing, waiting to get beat on. Sometimes he gives you a meme laser, which is a laser I've tried to avoid. I've tried jumping, I've tried walking backwards, forward, ducking, all kinds of stuff. It really just hits you anywhere if he does it. So I just kind of come into this and hope he doesn't shoot a laser at me. Occasionally he will fly to the center of the screen, which kind of messes with your air dash. So you don't get as many hits on your air dash there. Most of the time he just sits up there and does nothing. And you can recycle this boss. If you get the first 2 hits of the air combo with an air dash, and then air dash on him 2 more times when he's right up against the corner like that. I think I'm kind of fixed with this RNG. Now. Okay, so we did it a little bit later there. But sometimes he'll do that laser like right at the start. So this is actually a really good example here. Next, what you want to do, you can actually skip this next door coming up. You can dash right up against the screen transition here, or if you want to be a little bit safer, you can dash from about here, but you have to do it as soon as that mini boss goes down. And if you mess it up, you're going to lose time, because you just get popped by the door. Alright, thank you for cooperating, Vision. Right about here. Forward, skip that door. Easy. This next hallway... There's a couple different things you can do here. I like to jump backwards and then go here, because if you knock that door down, it spawns 3 pucks as opposed to skipping it where it only spawns 2 pucks. So I just like to jump backwards and then air dash forward, so you get a little bit of speed in that room. Saves maybe a second and a half or so. Knock down that door, and then when these pucks spawn, you can actually do it when the first one spawns, and it'll kill the other 2 anyway, just because Iron Man's gym special just hits everything on screen, even if it's not on screen. And the cool thing about these gym specials, actually, except for Wolverine's, even if you knock an enemy down, you can use a gym special, and it will knock them, or it will hit them while they're on the ground. So that's pretty cool. We actually use that against Thanos a little bit later. So this is the strat I like to use. Knock down the door, spawns 3 of these guys, use the gym, kills them, and then 1 more spawns from the left side here. And where I'm standing is kind of the optimal way to do it. That puck will come right about here. And you can just hit him a couple times and then do the smart bomb. You can't actually finish your full combo because Iron Man attacks too slow underwater. So just doing 2 hits and then down Y. Hit him with the smart bomb. 4 hits, he dies. Pretty easy. The other thing you can do, depending on is how safe you want to take this, you can jump right about here, skip that door, and then it spawns 2 pucks. pucks are really hard, I mentioned, for Iron Man to deal with. Smart Bomb makes them a little bit easier. Of course, that strats a lot slower if you don't use gems. So you could actually carry 2 gems in here, and then just skip that door, use a gem, kills the 2 pucks. It'll break the door too, and then 2 more pucks will spawn and kill them with another gem. But I just like to do the first thing I showed you. Nice. These guys stand right about here. Last one will spawn. 2 hits, Smart Bomb, and then we're gonna prep our screen transition with air dash again to skip the next door. From here, this section's easy. Just double jump, punch that guy. You can get this tank if you want. Double jump, double jump. And then just kind of fly in here. This Iron Man fight isn't really too hard. It will be one of the fights in the game that you have to use a lot of improvisation on. The optimal strat is to get both of them together and on the same cycle. The way you can do that is doing crouch hits to just kind of knock them together until you see that they're on the same cycle, or just about the same cycle, so you can fully combo them. Alright, so these platforms, the upper left and upper right, I call that the sweet spot, because if they jump up there and you air dash into them, you do a lot of damage. You get the full damage on it. If they jump on this platform right behind Iron Man, if one of them jumps up there, I like to air dash, because you get a few hits on it. One thing I don't like to do, just because the controls are so touchy, and you have risk of getting hit with one of their lasers that they like to just toss out there quite a bit, is just kind of down B off this platform and try to air dash into them. It doesn't work out very well 9 times out of 10. And another thing I like to do is kind of duck at the beginning of this battle. So they can just keep shooting lasers, and sometimes they just get laser happy and keep firing them. The pattern you get, obviously, is totally random. One of them can jump over top of you and shoot a laser down or at an angle. They can just do all kinds of stuff here. So you never really know what you're going to get at the start of this fight. Okay, so that was an ideal fight there. Something else you can do to kind of force them into the right cycle. So if they both get there, you can do a lot of damage. Just like that. So that's the sweet spot. And so this is the last thing you can do, is if you actually do a crouching attack with Iron Man here, you can kick one in the head, and you can you can clip the one that's standing right in front of you, and kind of knock them both down. The last thing I want to note about this fight is that if you use a gem here, you know, gems usually take about half the boss's life. and you can kill them with it. If you try to kill these Iron Man twins with a gem, it won't take half their life, and that's only if you use it at the end of the fight. It still will if you use it any other time, but if you use it at the end, it will leave about a sliver of health. So it will kill one of them, but leave about a sliver of health, and you'll have to get another hit on the last one. But I don't use gems on this fight. This is actually a pretty good showcase of their RNG. Alright, so now we get taken into the kind of intermission stage here. We get this cutscene, we just skip over it, and then we're going to come out with Spider-Man here. Spider-Man with the time gem. And it's interesting to note about Spider-Man is that he looks like he has the fastest walking animation in the game, but Wolverine is actually a little tiny bit faster than him. I like to jump past this guy, take this thing. It's not the strat though. It's actually really not the strat. But we'll keep going. Jump here, stick to the wall, jump. And coming up here, as soon as the screen locks, we're going to wait a couple seconds, and there's going to be a Hulk clone that spawns from the left side of the screen. Yeah, so we're going to wait a couple seconds, jump kick, 1, 2, 3, 4, jump kick, and then come back down for the full combo. Alright, so that stage was actually terrible. But we're gonna go back and break it down. So, Spider-Man here. Time gem. So, that's about how that screen should go. You want to get like a couple hits on that guy, wait for the other Iron Man. Sometimes he jumps over, most of the time he does that actually. Sometimes he'll like fire a laser in the air. There's not too much RNG, there's not too many ways you can really mess that screen up. It's generally fast anywhere you go. This hallway, we just gotta jump here, stick to the wall, and then jump backwards. You heard me say earlier, when the screen locks here, go back towards the left side, wait a second, jump kick, and it takes 2 full combos to kill Hulk. So usually I just get the 4 hit, you get the jump kick, the 4 hits, jump kick again, and then just go for the full combo. And we'll hit this teleporter here. So here, you just kind of want to jump forward, and right about here, you can let go forward and then just press jump and forward together. A lot of times, I take this too fast, and I end up doing this. You want to jump kick this door, and get in here to this mini-boss. This mini-boss has a little bit of RNG, but it's not too bad overall. Sometimes it will shoot at the start, sometimes not, it'll just spin. Sometimes it'll just stop and not do anything, sometimes it'll stop and shoot. But really what you want to do is get right into this position. So it gave a shoot pattern here. Because right about here, you can do just really about anything to it. You can get double hits with Spider-Man's kicks right in there. You can come down and melee it. You can even do crouching hits there. What you want to do, what's optimal, is to get jump kicks on them. These jump kicks do 2 damage, and will clear them out a little bit faster than anything else. If I miss a hit, then that's when I like to throw some melees in there. And just try to avoid their crossfire. See, these guys get faster and faster after each one you take out. And so we go to the second phase of this mini-boss, which is the core. So it'll spawn these 2 pink balls on the side, take those out, and then the core opens up. And this is an RNG element too, so it's kind of random when and where the electricity will come down. If you're standing in just the right spot and you're jump kicking, I've noticed I haven't really figured out where that pixel is. I need to practice this a little bit more. But there's a pixel that you can stand on, and when you jump kick this thing, that the electricity will come down, but it'll go right through Spider-Man's leg. The other important thing about this fight is that once you destroy the 2 balls, you can actually get double hits with Spider-Man's kick right on the core. It's a little easier to get him if you're a little closer to it as opposed to far away, or like on the tip of the hitbox. So sometimes it starts up right away. So I like to stand right about here. So just do that, kind of mash in the air, and it doesn't take too many hits. We are not there. We are here. So I was a little slow for the 1 cycle there, but it is possible to 1 cycle that. It's not too hard either. So we go, we jump, stick, and we don't want to hit this teleporter here. If you do accidentally hit this teleporter, it's going to be rip run, because it takes you to a few combat scenes, and it's going to cost you a couple minutes. So just be careful not to hit that. It's not really easy to hit it. Just jump out of the way. It's really not that hard. So jump here, stick to the wall, and if you really need it, there's some health right here. You can grab it and just kind of walk down and go into the teleporter. Now for this scene, I like to go over to where the screen locks, walk back over to the left, take this guy out before he even gets on screen. The other 2 guys are kind of RNG. And the red Iron Man guy, he just kind of takes 2 combos there. So Spider-Man appears to be short enough to actually get under there, and in a couple of his combo animations, he will go low enough to avoid a laser. But most of the time, I like to take that guy out off screen and then come back over and deal with those other 2 idiots. I feel like this screen can be a little more optimal. For this screen, you can also use Spider-Man's web ball. It's a really good tool, just kind of puts them in hit stun. I believe it doesn't do any damage, or maybe it's just 1 damage. You know, I don't use it too often, but on a screen like that, it can come in a little handy. That the screen could be a little bit more optimal. Kind of jump to the transition here. And for this screen, you can take this a couple ways. So you can jump kick this, go into the full combo there. Or you can use his up Y. That looks a little bit cooler. I like to do that. And I believe it saves a little bit of time if you do it like that. So we're going to be moving on to mages. Mages gives you a bit of RNG, and it really can be bad. So he can kill your run. What mages will do, he will either shoot a straight projectile on wake up, kind of semi-homing projectile, which is a spear. He will try to do a melee attack if you're close enough, or he can just heal himself, and when he heals himself, he's in iframes, so you can't do anything about it. And sometimes he just takes off and does it randomly before you can hit him. But most of the time, if you keep him occupied, it's not too much of a problem. I've been trying to optimize this fight a little bit more. And one thing I kind of came up with is staying to the right of Magus when you knock him down, and kind of staying over his body and jump at the right time to try to force a melee animation out of him. That way you can try to jump kick him and get your full combo. There's a couple other anomalies I've noticed on this. I've done some things accidentally and kind of taken more health from him than just a full combo. When I hit him from the left and kind of get a couple hits there, and the vortex just kind of pulls me to the right, and I finish my combo on the right. Haven't figured out completely how to get that consistent, but I'd like to see someone kind of toy with that. It'd be really cool if you could find a way to get more damage on Magus that reduces his chances of healing. So the general strategy for this fight, of course, is to knock Magus down, kind of stay to the right of him, try to force that melee animation, and you have to do that really quick because I believe his melee animation is maybe 1 or 2 frames, so it starts up incredibly fast. So you'll want to practice this just to get the timing down. And when he gets up, generally he'll teleport either left or right. And Spider-Man's jump kick is so long that he can get him from a good distance, and then he stays in hit stun, so you can get a full combo on him. Alright, so let's do it. And actually, this is another interesting situation here. So if Magus is all the way against this corner, he's not pressed all the way against it just yet. Spider-Man can only hit him in this corner if he's facing to the right. Yeah, so if he's pressed all the way in here, and I did it a little bit earlier on the run through of the level, you can see that Magus was pressed up against the wall. I was attacking, and all the attacks were whiffing here. So he wasn't totally there. Kind of stay to the right. Sometimes he does a melee. Alright, good fight. Yeah, so the key here is really just to kind of keep him occupied. Try very, very hard not to get knocked down here. The more times you get knocked down, the more time you give Magus, the more space you give him, the more opportunity he has to heal. So you can see that whiff there. You want to hit him facing to the right. And his really, really fast melee startup. I feel like the optimal strat may eventually be just standing there and taking that D boost. And there's his heal. And yeah, just as I say that, he goes into his invincible heal animation. Alright, so we'll run it one more time. So another thing to note is I've tried using gems on this fight, and for mages it actually doesn't take half his life. It takes maybe about a quarter, so I found them to be not really useful. So that's about the extent of mages there. We're going to get the power gem here, guaranteed, and that's the only gem we're going to need for the rest of the game. Not going to worry about any others. Going to get another cutscene here from Thanos, and we're going to drop right into the next stage select screen. Quite honestly, for the second half of the game, since we already have the power gem, it doesn't really matter how you go through it. But the way I go through it is just based on what is likely to make me reset. So Asteroid Belt, there's a couple tricks there that can cost you some time if you miss them. I used to take that stage with Iron Man, and with Iron Man, there's a little more variance on the boss fight. I'm actually going to be showing the Wolverine strat first and Iron Man strat second. Wolverine's much more consistent, but Iron Man takes the stage a lot faster, and he can get a semi-infinite on Blackheart, but it's kind of hard to set up. Arizona, there's a couple tricks there. Actually, there's just one trick. Well, one trick now. There's just one trick now. It's kind of hard to execute, so I do those two right up front. Egypt and Mount Vesuvius, there's not really much going on there. Okay, so I just do right to Asteroid Belt. I'm going to save a state here, actually, on the character select screen. First, I'm going to be showing the Wolverine strat. So with Wolverine, heal him if you need to. And then here, you really want to be careful and get your menuing down. And make sure you select the right gem. So you want to get the power gem. If you miss a menu in this game, it's going to be a reset. Because without the power gem, the bosses on the second half of this game, you do just kind of little baby damage to them. Alright, so let's run this through. Text here. Japanese version saves a second or two here. Probably the worst RNG I've ever gotten from Blackheart. And okay, so we'll run that through one more time, since Blackheart gave me a really bad pattern there. It's actually pretty hard to die there, but I just did it. Okay. I was a little slow here. Might get hit with a piece of junk here, but okay. Didn't matter. So that's how that stage should go with Wolverine. And let's go back and break it down now. So Asteroid Belt, pretty short stage. Really the shortest stage in the game. But there is a little bit that can go wrong here. So what we want to do at the start is jump up to the second platform, and then we don't want to jump off. We want to walk off the second platform and then claw dive down. That's going to bring us to the cycle where we can just jump over the space junk that's floating past and hit the vision clone, and the asteroid that we need to jump onto will just be reaching the same point we will. Dive here, jump, hit him, and jump, jump, jump. And for the claw dive here, I use that top meteor there as a visual marker. So you jump, dive here, and your animation gets cancelled because you get taken into this cutscene. I said earlier that Doom has a few more text boxes here in the English version. And optimally, you want to be mashing jump here. I'm probably going to get hit by this laser just because of the pause, so you can get a good jump hit on him. So I like to do 3 hits on him. It's kind of like the original Iron Man fight. Except Wolverine, he can get him in these corners here and get a little more damage on him just because of the claw dash. And for the claw dash, it's optimal for him to be either in the middle of the screen or right on the edge. You can also, if you feel up to it, execution-wise, you can DP him for even more damage. But what I like to avoid is the off-screen Doom. So this Doom is a little more jumpy than the one on the first stage. He likes to jump and do finger lasers a lot more. He likes to jump and do foot dives a lot more. And you can actually knock him off screen here. And if you knock him off screen, there is the potential for him to keep doing the big laser and just eat up a lot of your time. And he's standing in a place where you can hit him with a claw dash or any attack. So I like to avoid that and just try to line it up so that he's right on the edge or right in the middle at the end of the boss fight, so he can claw dash for a lot of damage. I did try to take a gem here to experiment with quick kills, but it's a little hard. Again, I'd like to see this optimized a little bit more. See what the best for this fight is. Best strat. Yeah, so So if you claw dash him like that, a lot of times he's going to come back on from the top and try to foot dive you, or he's going to big laser just like that. Kind of knock him down right there. Overall, it's not too hard. And you do a lot of damage with the power gem anyway. So, if you don't feel comfortable jumping over that laser, Wolverine is actually short enough to just walk up to him. You don't want to knock him off screen. Wait till he gets about there. Get your max damage. And when Doom goes down, for this trick that's coming up here, I like to count in my head to 3 to time my jump with the screen transition. Because if you time it just right, you can catch the asteroid and then tap back and jump. But if you miss the jump on that asteroid, you're going to get hit by some floating junk. It's going to knock you to the bottom of the stage, and you're going to lose a lot of time. You're going to have to wait for the asteroid to cycle back towards you too. So this is actually a really good screen to practice. So it's very, very tight timing on that. State here. So, kind of just like that. If you mistime that jump, you can miss the asteroid cycle. I'll show you that here in a second. Fight. Anyway. So if you miss the jump, kind of bonk your head, you can get pushed right down here and then miss the asteroid cycle. But a lot of times, when I bonk my head and get hit by that junk, I get knocked right about here or here. So it costs you quite a bit of time. Knock these guys out. Watch out for that junk. Up here, go to the top of the tower. And right about in the middle there, you get pulled into a cutscene. Bonk your head there. Have to wait for the asteroid cycle. And the longer you stay on the stage, the more annoying it gets, because you can get popped by that junk over and over and over. And then your health can get kind of sketchy for fighting Blackheart. And that's what happens if you catch it too late. So we'll give Doom a rest here after this one. Save state here. And so, the last thing I want to note about this stage is that if you're not fast enough, at least I think that's what it is, maybe it's that sometimes this little piece of junk that's underneath me spawns a little bit higher. I haven't really figured out what kind of timer this junk is on. I think it's on a global timer, but I could be wrong. It may actually be on a timer that's broken up between halves of the stage. So I think the junk after Doom may be on a different timer than the junk before Doom. But at any rate, I've noticed that sometimes it seems randomly that this will spawn a little bit higher. There's nothing you can really do about it. If you do get hit by it, you just land on that ledge that's to the top left there. And it'll cost you a second or two. But you get pulled into this fight here, right about the middle. Blackheart is actually really easy with Wolverine. He's actually kind of a joke, depending on which spawn he gives you. So for this kind of spawn right here, you just want to get your 3 hits and then do your claw dash. Takes almost an entire life bar from him, and it is possible to 2-cycle him. So most of the time he'll get knocked down. If you're too close, he will do that. His anti-air, that's the second attack he has. The third attack he has, he just kind of swings his hair. If you force him to swing his hair, you can actually jump over him and get a jumping attack, and then do something kind of cool if he goes on the ends here. Close. So any way you slice it, this fight's really easy. There is something I kind of want to show here. I got it in the stage demo. It seems like he's not going to give the RNG here to kind of replicate. Oh, here we go. I just messed it up. So got another chance here. And that's the opportunity there. I kind of botched it. To get max damage on him. Which takes over a life bar from him. So what you do there is you get 3 hits on him and then claw dash just like normal, but your claw dash will take him just about to the back of his hitbox, and you can get another full combo on him because it doesn't knock him down. If he spawns right in front of you, and then spawns right on the edge, you can 2-cycle him. Just barely missed it there. Try to get it one more time. So it's not very hard at all. So we'll just keep going here. And of course you get a gem, but we don't really care about the last two random gems on this in this half of the game. So that was the Wolverine version of that stage, and we'll do the Iron Man version now. Iron Man can take the stage a little bit faster than Wolverine can, but he loses a little bit of time on the bosses. So instead of going here, just kind of jump here. And actually just missed the cycle there. Show it. So you want to double jump over pretty far. And you'll know you've caught the cycle here when this little piece of space junk just floats right past Iron Man as he comes into the cutscene. Iron Man, you don't have to worry about timing anything there. This boss fight's slightly more difficult. So he gave us the setup for the semi-infinite here. Perfect. All right. So with Iron Man, I kind of use this big asteroid there as a visual marker, and you'll either land right about here on this light colored platform, or the one that I landed on. If you jump high enough, optimally you want to land right there. Just gonna jump again, air dash. You can air dash a third time if you want to. See, we're at number 3. So right there, and then you see the junk floating by. And then we go into the Doom boss fight, which pretty much is the exact same fight from earlier, except I mentioned that he's a little more jumpy. And with this double jump here, you want to jump at the apex of your first jump. Otherwise, you're going to miss that. The rest is just very simple platforming there. The boss fight for him is just slightly harder. And that's why I call it the semi-infinite, because if you're not standing on the right pixel, it's not really guaranteed. Even if you are, he could just teleport out. We'll run that again. He is not really to knock him down. Sometimes he just kind of randomly. I haven't really cracked the code too much on this boss fight with Iron Man. Just try to line yourself up to where you can get the semi-infinite. There's Iron Man doesn't do quite as much damage per knockdown here, so the teleporting can get kind of out of hand and it can get really sketchy. Not careful here. So Iron Man a little bit more danger, but overall not too bad of a boss fight. It's debatable whether Wolverine or Iron Man is actually faster on this stage, but we'll move on. So hang a left rather to Arizona. We're gonna pick Iron Man again. Power gem. If his life is a little low here, I kind of just let it slide, just because there's an opportunity to get some health on the stage, actually a couple places. Alright, so that is definitely not how that level should go. Let's go ahead and do that again. Alright, so that stage didn't go as well as it could have. We'll break it down. So starting out, I like to just jump right over this box, air dash to that guy, dash to this guy, hit him on the way down. The rest is really just crouching and kicking these guys. They only take one hit, so you can kind of improvise that. If you're really hurting for health, you can smart bomb this container a couple times. You get health here. All you have to do is air dash these next few sections. There's health there too. These Wolverines, I just like to hit them 3 times and then do a crouching hit, save a few frames, prep, and then air dash past this, air dash again. First floor of this elevator here, it's going to be an Iron Man clone, so you just wait a second, air dash into him. And the reason you want to wait is because if you jump, he can jump too, and then do a laser and shoot you in the face. Or he can do something totally different besides just walk into screen there. So after I down this guy, I like to get my foot right about in this position. Right about on the edge of where that little trapezoid thing is in the middle. The reason being is because you're going to have an evil thing spawn from the right side of the screen. It's the only evil thing in the game besides the boss evil thing. The only regular enemy evil thing, rather. And, yeah, with Iron Man's attack, it's so long that you can reach just about the tip of his hitbox if you stand in this position. You can kind of spam there, too, if you're not really good at timing it. Knock him down, go to the 3rd floor. Iron Man clone spawns from the left, Wolverine clone spawns from the right. Dash this guy. Combo that guy. This screen transition takes a little bit longer than the others, just because it needs to unlock the elevator there, or unlock the screen and then transition. So you can kind of time your air dash to go with it if you want to. Usually I just kind of walk and then right about here, air dash, punch him once I get on the ground, because you don't want to accidentally punch that Iron Man. Most of the time he'll just walk off the edge like this. Punch him, 1, 2, 3, jump up here. You're going to have an Iron Man clone spawn from the left and right. I like to wait a second, jump, get an air hit on that guy, and then 2 hits and a crouching hit. And the reason I want to finish with a crouching hit is because about the time you finish comboing him, the guy on the right can shoot a laser. If you crouch, you go right under the laser. And then sometimes that guy on the right, he can do an uppercut, where if you air dash over, he'll knock you right out of it. So kind of look for what he does. for a second, see if he's going to throw a laser or try to uppercut or what he's going to do. Sometimes he can jump to the center. Most of the time he'll just toss a laser. Sometimes he'll jump to the center, sometimes he'll uppercut. And coming up here is a difficult trick, especially when you're going really fast. So I jump from right about here to get pulled into that cutscene transition. If you go too far, you can actually get hit, as you saw earlier, by this. So this is called a triple door skip. And I haven't quite figured out whether that second door, or rather the third door past this one, whether it's triggered by being on the right pixel, so proximity to it, or if it's just triggered by time. But either way, you have to be kind of precise with this trick and have to be kind of fast. So you can skip the first door. The first door is free. The second door is the hardest, and the third door is kind of free, but only if you skip the second door. It's a little bit harder if you have to air dash the second door. So for this trick, I kind of like to jump from right about here and air dash. You want to be a little bit more forward, so a lot of times I just kind of jump into it. Or jump into that position. So it's just like that. I have a tendency to mess up the third door if I do mess up the second door. Overall, this is just a really good section to practice here. Not too hard. And this next screen's not too hard either. Air dash backwards, take out the vision, and just combo these Wolverines as normal. For this next section, you can get a despawn on the archer that's way up at the top, but he doesn't really matter too much. Want to double jump here, and if you double jump in the right spot, you can despawn that guy. If your health is looking a little sketchy, you can always go down here and grab this health pellet and air dash back over. It'll cost you a few seconds, but this boss fight is probably the hardest in the game, I'd say. Because I don't really have a clear-cut way of doing this boss fight. I've tried doing kind of the task strat there, but it doesn't seem to work very well in RTA. So what they did here is they took the second most annoying enemy after Puck, and they gave him a few lasers, and it gave him a lot more health. A lot of times I use iframes, because if you get hit by the lasers, it does a little less damage than if you get hit by Daredevil himself. What you really want to look out for is something that Iron Man's kind of susceptible to, is his jump attack. So if he jumps and he grabs you, you're going to lose quite a bit of health, making this boss fight even more sketchy. But this fight is mostly just laser control and kind of positioning yourself. Kind of use the iframes there from the lasers. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can always take out the lasers. They only take one hit, or the turrets rather, whatever you want to call them. And you should note that Iron Man's laser does pretty considerable damage here too. So if you really get scared of him and you want to keep him away, you can just use that laser. So I haven't found a super consistent strat for him. I also haven't toyed with this fight too much. I really kind of want to see what I can come up with. I want to see what other people can come up with as well. Because this is definitely the least optimized boss fight. Kind of something like that. All right. I don't think I mentioned actually. So when we're coming out of the Asteroid Belt, just tap left. If it wasn't obvious, to go to Arizona. And here we just tap right. We're going to go to Mount Vesuvius, which is the boring auto-scroller. You just want the power gem, Spider-Man here. The health really doesn't matter too much, just because there's so much you can get along the way here. So with this stage, I'm just gonna kind of explain as I go. Just because I don't really want to go through the auto-scroller again. It's very simple to explain as well. You get on here, there's some fireballs, there's Silver Surfer. There's a way to light up Silver Surfer to kind of try to hit him every time. There's some gems on the way, you might want to pick up some gems if you want. There's a lot of health along the way, and that's really it. There's a Silver Surfer mini-boss that takes a few more hits, but Spider-Man can kill him in one cycle. And, yeah, so we need 6 gems total, special gems rather. We need 6 special gems to really kind of properly do this game, at least right now, the way the game is right now. So we did use one on Sasquatch. Used one on the Aquarium. You can take one on Arizona for safety. And we're going to need 3 on Thanos. And you can grab a bunch here if you don't have any. You have to walk, actually, onto this little surfboard that Doctor Strange has created for you. If you walk, you're actually fall into the lava, so you have to do a full jump there. Alright, auto-scroller. Silver Surfer. Fireballs. So, Silver Surfer, he'll come from the right side of the screen. You'll see him in the background, and when you see him in the background, you kind of want to line your surfboard up a little bit above his. And you can do that because the board itself does have a hitbox that will knock you down. It doesn't really affect the auto-scroller too much. But if you are looking a little sketchy on health, you can do that. So kind of line it up. Hit me with the surfboard, so I wasn't lined up properly. This one's easy. It's the mini boss. Takes a few more hits. If you let him go, it extends the auto scroller by just a little bit because he comes back around. But Spider-Man can one-cycle him, and you get it most of the time, so it's not really a problem. And this guy just keeps hitting me. That's the last one. You want to line up right about here. A lot of times, if you aren't lined up in the right spot, the game will flip you in the opposite direction. It doesn't really cost any time, just kind of a little oddity there. So you want to jump, jump. And with these archers here, you kind of want to wait half a second for them to line up their shots forward so they don't shoot you out of the air. Kick him in the face, kick him in the face, and you can get high or low spawns from these fireballs. If you get low spawns, you can just jump right over them. If you get high spawns, you just have to wait there for a second. And this is kind of a section that looks a little scary, but really is not. Jumping up this hill. You just jump, 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 kick this guy in the face as he's loading his arrow. So that looks scarier than it actually is. So I get that every time. It's not super hard. Kind of walk around here. Now, I go this route just because I just kind of want to walk right off this cliff, and then you're lined up to go pretty much straight down here. And what's optimal there is to kind of land in that pit and then jump along with that fireball. And then as it goes down, you want to jump over to the next section. If you jump too high to the right, you actually get hit by that lava wall. So that lava wall actually has a hitbox. If you're concerned about the health of any of your characters, there's a full tank here. And there's also a full tank and a revival pill at the top of this. So you kind of have to land on it. But if you're going really fast, it doesn't really matter. You don't really need revives anyway. So yeah, land here. I don't want to jump with that. And even if your health is sketchy here, it doesn't matter too much. So Thing can give you a little bit of RNG. He can do one of three things. He can kind of bull rush you. He can do an upward swipe if you're standing near him, or he can just chuck fireballs at you. Bad RNG is just running around like an idiot. Good RNG is if he swipes upward twice. Only takes about 3 full combos to kill him. So there was a swipe. like to do is jump and then jump again. Reason being is because these platforms are sinking. So if you're actually in the lava, you'll be able to stand there for a second, but then you'll get knocked down automatically. So I like to jump and then jump again to kind of raise the platform. So jumping to raise the platform the first time, the second time just jumping so you don't get hit if thing decides to bull rush you. Spider-Man has this long jump attack, so you can hit him from quite a distance away. Overall, he can cost you a few seconds, but he's not really that bad. And we just tap right, we go to Egypt, and this is another Wolverine versus Iron Man. Don't really know which one is more optimal stage, so I'll show Wolverine first. Wolverine definitely has an advantage here because his claw dash takes out the enemies so fast, and there's a lot of close quarters combat on this stage. I don't even know what the hell happened. Kind of messed up the stage, but once again, we'll break it down. With Wolverine, you want to take this little sand slide, jump, jump. Vision guys, take 2 hits. You want to jump through all this. I usually mistime that jump there, just like that. But you really want to jump, like, kind of at the top there. You want to wait for that archer to load his arrow, and then you can either jump and hit him or claw dive. actually save a state here. These guys are usually a problem. Again, gets a little bit of acceleration there. The screen's very easy to improvise, just because again, these puck, they only take one hit. And if that vision does come on the screen, it's really not that big of a problem. Claw dash this a few times and hit it and walk into the screen. Once it locks, again, I go back to the left. The guy usually spawns there. Wolverine's claw dash is just, it really just dominates this stage. And these stairs, I kind of like to brush up against them here because you can avoid that guy. Sometimes he gives you a spawn where he just knocks you down. Once again, claw dash for pretty much every screen here, except for this one. Mini boss can be kind of annoying. So you want to hit him. That's not the right way. You want to get a hit on him and get another one going backwards. So jumping hit, moving backwards, claw dive, and another jumping hit. You can grab this tank if you want. It's not super important. Walk forward. These guys usually just jump over and then walk forward to the next combat scene, where we will be claw dashing. Here, you want to jump to avoid those spikes, and then just walk forward. Jump down here, and get taken into the cutscene for the boss. So, pretty easy stage overall. Now, Hulk, he can give us a couple patterns from the start here. Most of the time, I've noticed he just charges forward, but sometimes he jumps. Like the claw dash right there. So I haven't developed a solid strat for him. He's not too bad overall. Either pattern he gives you, you can just claw dive him. Only problem is with his charge. So I like to get him right into this corner here. This boss fight can be optimized a little bit more. So if you do get a claw dash on him, you do want to duck afterwards and do a crouching attack. You can also do that if you time it right. Just get big damage on him. But you have to time it just right here. Either way, he's not really that hard. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna take this with Iron Man, who's a little bit different because he can't deal with the close combat quite as well as Wolverine can. I like to get right about here with Iron Man. Takes 10 hits here. So it's really most optimal to get regular combos here with Iron Man, just because his air dash is so hard to do, and these daredevils take away so much of his space. Mini boss is kind of a joke. Dash into him. You want to dash from right about here. And Iron Man is so tall that these guys will still hit him. So anywhere there's a puck, Iron Man will have trouble dealing with them. That wasn't the best stage. Iron Man does have this advantage where he can hit the enemy's off-screen with his laser, but it's only a minor advantage. For this section, I do like to kind of stand right about here, double jump, go right about like that. Sometimes that guy does give you bad RNG and won't hit you out of your air dash. It just takes 2 air dashes. Here. I really don't feel comfortable with these guys. You can just take them out before the screen locks. There's something here that I kind of want to show. So it can be a run killer as well. So just like the non-scroll in the jungle stage, you can also get a non-scroll here. And I've actually lost a run that was on really good pace to this one. It's actually really hard to get this one. And I'm not quite sure how to set this one up even. But yeah, just be aware that occasionally, Iron Man at least, you can lock this section. And I haven't figured out how to unlock it. It's probably just walking backwards, just like the jungle stage. We have to duck there because Iron Man's a little bit taller. And then we go into a little bit of a different fight here with him. So, same kind of concept as Wolverine. Ideally, we kind of want to lure him over to the sides so you can get full damage with your air dash. Be careful again, because every time Hulk wakes up, or if he's a good distance away from you, he will charge at you. Overall, it only takes a few combos to even take him out. Not a terribly hard boss fight, but Iron Man is tall enough to get hit by pretty much all of his attacks. Melee, that is. last section of the game. So we get these cutscenes again, just going to introduce Nebula. And I haven't found a more optimal way to do this besides Spider-Man. So yeah, we can heal if he needs it. Nebula is a really easy boss. We should be in and out of here in about a minute or so. She's going to come down, do kind of a kick, just jump. And I don't know, I've been messing this fight up lately. Mistiming that. I'm going to get right about here and time it so that jump when she wakes up and you can land a jump kick on her. Just like that. You can mess this fight up like I have been lately, but it's actually kind of hard for something to really go wrong there. Jump. And manipulation. So I've actually not seen that before, where she tries to jump constantly. It might be triggered by proximity. So annoying. I've been messing this fight up so bad lately. You can see that Spider-Man does so much damage to her that the situation is really under control for the most part. So that's about how the fight should go. So a perfect fight would consist of you just forcing her upward swing, and Spider-Man has such a high and floaty jump that he can jump right over it every single time. Just like that. too much wrong that can go here. Not too much that can go wrong here. I guess what I was trying to say there. And last but not least, Thanos. So skip this cutscene, and we're going to be using the Hulk. This Hulk is usually not good for very much in this game, but he actually shines here. So we want to get 3 specials on, and the power gem. If not, again, he does really baby damage for being the Hulk on Thanos. It's like laughable how much damage he can do without the power gem. So we'll save state here. Things to note about Thanos. He has a really cool intro. He has really cool music. And he can really only be hit when he's using the Infinity Gauntlet, just like that. So he can start to summon a lot of walls and a lot of flame pillars as his life gets lower. And that can be really annoying. So really the strat is to have these 3 gems here, mostly just for backup. If Thanos starts to counterattack or block too much, then you want to just, or if he summons too many walls or summons too many flame pillars, if there's too much stuff on screen, you really just want to spin the gems to get rid of them. Because you can use them back to back to back, and it takes about 75% of his health. And you really only want to do this after you get him down to the 2nd life bar. Get him down there and you score a hit or 2, and if you want to stay really consistent, you can just spin these gems. Otherwise, this is the strat here. He's gonna summon something, sometimes a wall, sometimes a flame pillar. You just want to dash over here, and for the most part, we're just gonna be doing this, hoping to score a hit. Do this because Hulk can't get counterattacked with his jump attack there. It's actually a really bad pattern. So if it gets too sketchy, you can always just spin the gems. Get rid of them. The idea is to dash and get him on that first hit. So when his life is right about here, that's when he stops letting a lot of hits through. So when his life gets right about here, you're actually lucky to start getting hits in. Again, you can just spin gems, or you can try to tough it out and gamble, because it can save time to gamble. Because the gem animations generally, well, they take 4 seconds to start, and obviously with this, you're gonna kill him a lot faster than that. that was actually a pretty good fight there. So Thanos does have a random chance to block you. But with this strat, you really don't have to worry about it too much. And the little swipe he does, that's his counter attack. So that was probably one of the best fights you could ask for there. We'll go one more. Getting a pretty bad pattern from him now. Alright, so that's the Thanos fight, and that's the